Hey guys, Skellington80 here. So we are back for day 7 of 25 Days of Monsters, and today we have the story of Fafnir from the Volsung Saga in the 13th century, and it doesn't list an author. First, before we begin, I'm going to oops, hang on, tablet slipped. Hang on, sorry. This is very unprofessional, I know. Okay. Here is the illustration. We see Fafnir on his cave, sitting on a pile of, yep, that's a pile of gold and riches, spewing out a cloud of poisonous gas from his mouth. Pretty epic, if you ask me. Tim Seibert did not mess around with these illustrations, like I have been saying for the past pretty much week or so. Alright, and also, this is a very old story, and it was originally written down in Norse, Old Norse, I think, so you'll have to excuse me if I horribly butcher some names. Alright, the category is cursed human. It'll make sense in a bit. Base operations is Gnita Heath, Gnita -HEATH. I'm just going to pronounce it Nita Heath, because Nat begins the same, the word Nat begins the same way, and I'm just going to do that because it's similar. Okay, when the 6th century maybe, powers, poison breath, deadly blood, most deadly deeds, patricide and hoarding, that means he killed his dad, and the fear factor is 4, although that's kind of relative. Alright, in the waste of Nita Heath, on the world's largest treasure hoard, there brooded the dragon Fafnir. Fafnir hadn't always been a dragon. Once he had been the eldest of three sons of Hreidmar. Amongst his brothers, Fafnir was by far the greatest and grimmest, and would have all things about called his. And then one day, wandering gods accidentally killed Fafnir's younger brother, Otter. Now, in those days, if you killed someone, you had to pay a weregild to the dead person's family, a tax to make up for the crime. The gods swiped the gold they needed from a nearby dwarf, even taking the ring from his finger. The dwarf cursed the gods. The gold ring, yea, and all the gold withal, should be the bane of every man who should own it thereafter. This will come in later. I'm not sure why I said that. Just pretend I didn't say that. I am bad at this. The gods gave the ring and all the gold to Hreidmar, and he was satisfied. He was now a rich man, but not for long. And his eldest son, Fafnir, killed him and took the gold away to Gnita Heath. There Fafnir sat on the treasure, and so became the worst of all worms. That is to say, he turned into a dragon. Fafnir spent his days guarding his hoard. When people approached, he would spout out poison so that none durst come anigh, dared come near, or he would scare them away with his countenance of terror. No matter how many men came against him, he was always stronger than all of them. He had nothing to fear. He lived with his treasure and his ring, and let us suppose he was happy. Meanwhile, the youngest Hreidmar's son, Regin, was not very happy. He had lost his father and one brother, and now his other brother had absconded with the gold without giving him a share. Regin was in no condition to fight a dragon himself, so he enlisted a young man named Sigurd Sigmundsson, who was unmatched in growth and goodliness. Regin forged Sigurd a sword that could cleave an anvil down to the stalk, and this was a sword that could kill a dragon, even one as mighty as Fafnir. Sigurd and Regin rode to Gnita Heath, and for the first time, Sigurd saw the tracks Fafnir made, and became aware of the monster's great size. How would he kill such a beast? I mean, you've got a sword that can chop anvils in half, so I'm pretty sure you're good. But Regin had a plan. So he told Sigurd to dig a pit between Fafnir's cave and his watering hole. If Sigurd hopped in the pit, then when Fafnir slithered overhead, Sigurd could stab him in the belly. Regan hoped that the dragon's hot blood would pour out and boil Sigurd alive, therefore only eliminating the only other person who knew about the treasure. Yikes. That is cold, not gonna lie. But Sigurd instead dug 3 deep channels, so when he stood in one and stabbed the dragon, the blood flowed down the other 2 and left Sigurd untouched. Soon Fafnir's blood was gushing down the channels, while Sigurd calmly wiped the gore from his sword. Regan then tried to kill Sigurd to claim all the gold for himself, but that didn't go well. Soon Sigurd was wiping his sword clean again, and I'm just gonna let you guess what that meant. And so Sigurd ended up with the gold, the ring, and the curse. Yeah, I'm guessing nobody told him that it would turn him into a dragon. But that's where the story ends, so we do not know what happens to him after that unless you read up on Norse mythology. Alright. Beyond the book, Dragon versus Elephant. The medieval scholar Bartholomeus Anglicus writes in his encyclopedia on the properties of things, 1240, between elephants and dragons is everlasting fighting, for the dragon with his tail bindeth and spanneth the elephant, and the elephant with his foot and nose throweth the dragon. I don't know why he didn't mention tusks, but okay. The overheated dragon attacks so it can quench its thirst on the elephant's blood, for elephants have notoriously cool blood, and the dragon is a full thirsty beast. Joshua Sylvester, in his 1592 poem, Birth of the World, specifies that the dragon preys on elephants by thrusting his nose, then his head and all, into the elephant's trunk. Unable to breathe, the elephant suffocates to death. Medieval bestiaries, books of beasts, suggest that when a dragon wants to kill an elephant, it simply winds its tail around the poor beast and crushes it like a boa constrictor. Since bestiaries often used animals as metaphors and moral lessons, the bestiary goes on to state that the dragon represents sin, which acts as a snare, and tangles people up, crushing them with guilt. Guys, please calm down! I'm sure it's nothing! Yeah, you're gonna have to get used to my dogs going nuts in the background. I love them, but they're not the sharpest tools in the shed, and they bark at pretty much everything. Alright. Guys, please! Alright. In darkness bind them. A cursed ring, a dragon's hoard. J.R.R. Tolkien was a medieval scholar who translated Beowulf and knew the Norse sagas well. So if it looks as though some aspects of these stories made their way into The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, don't be surprised. In fact, the name Gandalf comes directly from Old Norse literature, where it's the name of a dwarf. Alright, and lastly, we have the dragons of Greek mythology. Dragons appear in legends of places all over the world, from Ethiopia to China. Ancient Greece was practically crawling with them. And first we have Python from the Hymn to Apollo by Synethus of Chios, it's spelled Chios, circa 522 BC. This bloated great she-dragon was the daughter of the goddess Hera, born to Hera alone, with no father, simply because Hera was angry with her husband Zeus. I'm guessing because he knocked up yet another woman without her knowledge. Yeah, he kind of did that a lot. So I wouldn't blame her. Okay. The baby Apollo, Zeus's son, slew Python with his bow and arrows and established an oracle, the famous Oracle of Delphi, on the spot to commemorate the deed. Pythons, the snakes you might find in Southeast Africa or Asia, are named after the dragon. I mean, duh. The Ismenian dragon from the Library of Apollodorus, circa the 2nd century. When Cadmus was first building the city of Thebes, a dragon at a nearby spring ate his friends. Cadmus slew the dragon, but now there was no one to live in Cadmus's city. The dragon had eaten them all. So Cadmus plucked the teeth from the dragon and sowed them like seeds. Men sprung up from the furrows and began to fight each other. Idiots. I mean, I know they grew from teeth, but that's just kind of dumb. The survivors became the first citizens of Cadmus's city and the ancestors of the people of Thebes. And finally, we have the Dragon of the Grove of Ares from the Argonautica by Apollonius of Rhodes, circa 250 BC. When Jason of Argonaut fame sought to seize the golden fleece from the Grove of Ares, he found it guarded by a dragon. Although neither by day nor by night does sweet sleep subdue his restless eyes, the dragon was nevertheless knocked out by Medea, who was a sorceress who joined along on the ride to help them spells, and Jason swiped the fleece. Alright, that is it for today. Tune in tomorrow for day 8, and I hope you all have a happy Halloween, and like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you next time. Bye!